What is the solution that you would put forward?
Well, I think there's got to be a bailout from the Premier League. A sensible figure has got to be agreed, because if you look at the recent England team, a lot of those players started playing non-league football or were loaned to non-league clubs. So the pyramid is really important, I think, for English football in its present state. So I think the government have got to help. They've given a lot of money to the arts. I think now they've got to help these communities, because football teams are huge in those communities, in places like Rochdale. We've seen Bury go out of business. We've seen Macclesfield go out of business. Those football clubs have got to be kept going. So a combination of money from the Premier League. I mean, there's huge amounts of money being made by the game. So it's wrong, really, particularly in a situation like this, that any clubs are going out of business because of what is happening with COVID. And I think Mark's right about they're trying to make a point to the government here, because they want at least 20% crowds back in, and there's no reason really why that can't happen away from the hotspot cities.
Ian, you mentioned the fact that a number of those England players that played against Belgium and beat Belgium at the weekend came through the lower leagues. England, of course, favourites to win the Euros. I don't think that's even in doubt, is it, Ian? I'm still trying to fathom how on earth you can watch the likes of France, Portugal and the quality that they have within their sides, yet still, for some reason, the bookies have got England as the favourites to go and win the Euros next summer.
I think blended into that is the fact that the semi-finals and the finals will be at Wembley. But I'd agree with you, they're not favourites. They played Belgium yesterday. They got the breaks in the game with a few decisions. Very tight offside decision to rule out that first Belgium goal from Carrasco. Then the penalty decision was soft. The winner was deflected. But give England some credit, because they did improve a lot in the second half. They upped the tempo. They got more compact. They closed down the supply lines to Lukaku and could have scored a couple more goals. So in the end, although they rode their luck a bit in the game, it was a good win. And remember, Belgium hadn't been beaten for 2 years. But are they favourites? No, they're not the favourites for the European Championship. For me, the team that I'd really think should be considered a lot more than they are Portugal to win it again. I think there's something like 16-1 with the bookmakers. They've got a better team now than they had 4 years ago.
Portugal got some good quality players coming through, aside from Cristiano Ronaldo. Mark Frank Leboeuf speaking on yesterday's show, talking about if he was an Englishman, he'd be really concerned about their defence going into the tournament next summer.
Absolutely, because I don't think England have a centre-half you can rely upon right now. I mean, you know, what's happened to John Stones, what's happened to Harry Maguire, these guys are out of form or out of the team. So I don't think England are favourites because the bookies aren't stupid. They realise that a lot of English fans will put money in England. And no, I mean, look, if England win the group, which they should do considering they are playing all their games at home, they will play either, I think it's France, Germany or Portugal in the second round in Dublin. So they will lose home advantage for the toughest game. I don't even see them getting past the second round because I don't see them beating Portugal, France or Germany. So we have to look at the draw. For me, England are probably fourth or fifth favourites, and I think France still are the team to beat because they've got quality in every department. And you know, with Kylian Mbappe, he's a superstar, isn't he? I think France for me are the favourites, and England, I just think it's going to be another summer of disappointment if we actually get a Euros on.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.